What is up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Albert, and in this channel I am documenting my journey in an attempt to make several $1,000s every month selling Tesla puts. My goal for this channel is really to be able to learn more cool stuff and share with people in hopes that they find it useful and applicable to their own lives. Also, making these videos is helping me learn faster. Just as a quick caveat, I am definitely pretty new at options trading, and I'm learning as I go. I do think I'm making pretty good progress though, and the main reason for this, I believe, is because of my fundamental understanding of Tesla. I covered more of that in my last video, so check that out. For some context, I started this about 4 months ago in July. First month I made about $2,000. Last month I made about $15,000, and I think in November I'll probably make around $30,000. So the one thing I did want to do with this channel is I wanted to put all my trades out there before they make or lose money. I think it's a lot more exciting this way, and I think it's kind of lame when people just, in hindsight, put their trades up and talk about how much money they made. So all the things I'm sharing are before they made money, and I'm going to recap also on if they made money or not. So every week I'm sharing the puts that I'm selling that I sold this week and also the ones that expired this week. So in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the puts I sold this week, the puts I expired this week, as well as how I think this will grow. The most important thing I'm going to go over this video is I'm going to cover how to sell puts if you don't have a lot of capital. One of the downsides of selling puts is if you want to cash secure it, you need like 100 shares worth of money to be able to secure that put. So realistically, it's not useful to a lot of people. However, this week I learned about a way for you to do the same thing without a ton of capital. So the main point of this video will be to cover how that goes. All right, so let's get into it. So here is a screenshot of all the puts that expired this week. If you haven't seen this before, let me just kind of orient you a little bit on what you're seeing here. So this column here called cost basis, that's how much I received when I sold that put sometime in the past. The current value is how much I would have to pay if I were to buy this put back at this time, and then the total gain loss is how much money I made off of this put. So you'll see I have 3 puts here. One is for $3,000. The reason it's more is because I sold it farther back in the past. So the longer you go out, the more money it's worth because there's a higher chance of it going below the strike price. And I've been really selling more weeklies recently because even though it's less money, it's a less time frame. So in this case, I sold this 5 weeks out, so I'm only making over 5 weeks. I'm making $3,000 in this scenario, whereas 1 week I'm making $1,000 every week. And once again, I've been selling a lot of puts, and I've also been rolling puts, meaning that I've been closing them out before they expire. So I forgot to take screenshots of all of them. So here's like another put I sold this week where I sold it on 11/3 for $650, and I bought it back on 11/5 for $68. Right? You might be wondering, why am I buying it back when it can expire worthless? The reason I'm doing that is because, let's say, for example, here I have this 745 put. For November 5th. That means that on November 5th, if Tesla finishes above 745, then it will expire worthless. Because I'm so far out of the money, and let's say today is November 3rd, over the next 2 days, I'm only going to make $23. What I could do instead is I can just buy it back for $23, just pay that amount, but then sell another put, and then in those 2 days, I'll make more money. I'll make, $4,000 divided by 30. So I'll make like $100 per day, $200 per day versus $23 over 2 days. So I've been rolling puts just to be a little bit more efficient. Dollars per day I'm making. Okay, if that makes sense. And overall, if you add everything together, I made about $6,000 of money that expired just this week. And then some of these screenshots are old, so I didn't actually close them out at these prices. So overall, I probably bought back about $130 of premium. So essentially, I sold something for $6,000, bought it back for $130. So pretty good week if you ask me. Moving on to my new puts. So you'll notice here that I have a lot more puts than I did previously. If I count them up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this one is 2, so 11 puts now. And I've been just selling puts like crazy because I've been trying to get as much money in as possible, right? Here you can see I sold one for December 10th, which is the one I normally sell about 5 weeks out. Instead of making $3,000, I made about $4,000. Strangely, I don't understand what happened. I really don't. If you know in the comments, let me know. For some reason, this week, the puts were just really expensive. So I made $4,000 here, and then here you can see I started doing weeklies. Instead of making 1,000, I was making like $1,500. Here I sold 2 for 3,000, right? So I think yesterday I sold this one, these two right here, the 1050 and 1045. I sold them yesterday at 2 different times, and I made about $1,500 each. And then just 1 day later, even though the stock price did not move, it actually went down. I made 50% of that put. So something crazy happened yesterday. I don't know what, but I'm not complaining. I sold a similar put today, where I only got 959 for it, where it's even higher priced than the 1050. So this one looks more evenly priced. But yeah, I'm gonna make about $9,000 or so. I sold 4 puts worth $5,600 expiring next week, and I sold this one put expiring in December. That's gonna make about $4,000. So yeah, so as I continue to go, I'm like kind of snowballing into more and more money, and I have a little bit of a slide here on why I think this will go up. So when like last month I made 15,000, this month I'm making 30,000, and the reason for that is because I'm doing these weeklies now. And also what's happening is I'm increasing my premiums, which I'm making more money for each put I sell. What's also happening is because the Tesla stock is going up, I have a lot of shares, so my leverage is getting higher, which makes me able to sell more puts. And then I'm also making more money that I'm holding that I can sell more puts. And then I don't think the fundamentals are changing. So I'm a big believer in wishing things into existence. When I started doing this, my goal was to make $2,000 a month. I really honestly believe, and this will be my goal, I'm gonna put this out there right now. I honestly believe within a year from now, I can probably be making $100,000 per month selling puts. And hey, we'll see how that goes. But just putting it out there in the universe, hopefully it comes true. Okay, so for those of you that are new, I'm gonna cover what selling a put is. This is the same slide that I had last week, but I just want to go over this real briefly in case you don't understand or need a quick refresher. So what's happening is that I'm promising that I will buy 100 shares of Tesla at a certain price before a certain date. Okay, for that I receive a premium, and because I'm the one selling the option, the buyer has the option to make me buy these shares or not buy these shares. Usually, or realistically, he's only gonna make me buy these shares from him if it makes money. That means that the share that we agree upon, the strike price, the price that we agreed upon, the strike price, has to be less than what he can sell it for, less than what the market price is. So if the stock price doesn't drop below the strike price, then he's not going to let me sell. He's not going to make me buy it, and he's going to go, okay, whatever, it's all fine, just keep the premium. So I keep the premium for free. That's what I'm doing. So as an example, let's use these numbers here. So what this is saying, if you look up here, I'm saying that I'm going to sell a put that expires next week, and the strike price will be $1,100. This means that as long as Tesla finishes above $1,100, then I'm gonna collect a premium that's worth, in this case, $1,140 total, right? Or $11.40 per share, because you have to multiply by 100. All right. So any dollar amount where it finishes above $1,100, I'm gonna collect that premium. If it finishes below $1,100, then I'm gonna start losing money. So let's say it goes lower, then I start losing money. Even if it goes to a little bit below, because I collected that premium, I have a little bit of a buffer, like a $12 buffer here. You can see that, right? The $12 for the $11.40 that I'm making per share. Okay, so once I start going below 1088, then I start losing money. And if Tesla, this will never happen, but Tesla goes to $0, then I could potentially lose $108,000, right? And that's why it's hard to sell puts, because you need $108,000 to secure in your account in case this happens. Unless you use margin, which will be a smaller percentage, but let's not get into that right now. So this is the hard part of selling puts is because not everyone has, pretty much nobody has $108,000 just sitting around to secure a put, okay? So before I get into the next step here, let me go into the opposite, which is buying a put. So if I'm buying a put, I have the option to sell 100 shares of Tesla by a certain price, by a certain date. And I'm paying the premium for this option. And I get to decide whether or not I want to sell these shares. And I'm only going to sell them if the stock price is below the strike price. So let's say that we're buying a put. And in this example, we buy a 950 strike price put for next week. For this put, to buy it, we will have to pay $305, right? So the premium is paid by us, $305. And you can see the reverse. The max gain is a ton of money. That's if Tesla goes to zero, then we're going to make $95,000 because essentially we're selling these stocks that are worth $0 at $95,000, even though we can buy it for $0 in this crazy scenario, right? If the stock price ends above 950, we're not going to execute and we just lose at 305. So here you can see any price above 950, you lose 305, and then at some point when you get to 946.95, which is basically $3.50 above this to 950, then we start gaining money all the way to 0. All right, so that's what buying a put is. You have limited downside but max upside, even though the probability is very low. All right, so now let's put those two strategies together, and this is what they call a put credit spread. All right, and what you're doing is you're buying that put for 950. At the same time, you're selling that put for $1,100. Because $1,100 is higher than 950, we're going to end up making a premium, which is going to be $800 and $833. And what this number is really is going to be the 1,140 minus the 305, and that's how you get the 830. And what you're doing is you're limiting your premium by $300, but you're also limiting your downside. Okay, so look at this chart. If you look at stock price here, at $1,100, everything above that we make money, and then once you start going below $1,100, you start losing money, and then all the way till you get to 950. That's when that put that you bought kicks in, so it cancels out the money that you would have lost on the put that you sold. So after 950, you stop losing money, and what's cool about this, the whole point of this, is the max loss, right? So I just want to make a note here. When you're selling these puts, you never expect it to go this low, right? So I would never expect any of my puts to go this low. If they were going to go this low, I would roll it already. So I want to get to this loss. But because you have this in place, you're able to sell this put now with only $15,000 versus the $108,000 you needed earlier, right? The downside is you limit your premium by $300, but that allows you to sell this put. You can sell more puts with less money essentially, and it allows you to make money selling puts without all that money. So hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. If you found this useful, please subscribe, and yeah, see you next week.